So you've been probably feeling it. There's more hope in the air as more vaccines become more available, more widespread. You're probably seeing more posts of your friends and family saying, I got my vaccination. You're probably making more plans. While there is good news, there's still a lot of work ahead to get everybody their shot in their arms. And now there are some people who simply are going to choose not to get vaccinated, but there's also a large group of people who haven't gotten their shots for a whole other list of reasons. And that's still particularly true in our Black and brown communities. According to the LA Times vaccination tracker, 65% of Black and 66% of Latino Californians have not been vaccinated. Compare that to 49% of white, 38% of Asian Californians. Let's talk about it with Dr. Tony Mills. He is the CEO of Men's Health Foundation, which has 2 offices in South Los Angeles, 2 offices in West Los Angeles. They got themselves some coverage. Dr. Tony, really a delight to talk to you. You know, look, there's been some hand-wringing and consternation, rightly so, about this, the statistics we just saw. And those aren't just statistics. You and I both know very well. Those are people. And that's what you do. You work to address the real needs and the real concerns of people about their health. What are you hearing in terms of this hesitancy?
Yeah, you know, it's funny, Michaela, we knew this. We anticipated this. We started tackling this problem back in the summer last year because we knew there's existing medical mistrust, especially amongst communities of color. And with the rush on the vaccine and the trying to get it out as quickly as possible, we knew there would be some people who were concerned. So I felt like we had overcome a lot of that. We were building some great momentum. We were getting seniors vaccinated. But I think when the Johnson & Johnson pause came about, that really slowed things down a little bit.
So in terms of that, you know, we make these advances, and then there's a setback like that. We've had countless medical professionals on, nurses, doctors themselves, Black and brown, talking about the fact that they've been vaccinated. I talk about the fact that I've been vaccinated, and we know that anecdotally, it does help. If someone you trust and respect has gotten the vaccine, that goes a long way. What other things have you found have helped to either reassure people, allay fears, help them understand the science and trust the science? What have you found that works?
I mean, a lot of people are really focusing on the data and the fact that the incidence of these complications is so small compared to the incidence of problems from COVID. But I don't think data is really an effective way of targeting it, because this is really, as you said, about fear. And fear is not really rational and can't be reasoned with. I think exactly what you said, you know, showing them your arm, you know, wearing a sticker that says I was vaccinated. I think about this as being the second stage of our vaccine efforts. The first was really motivated by people who were afraid of COVID and would have done anything to get a vaccine. And now it's got to be a little bit more personal. It has to be someone taking someone's hand, a warm handoff to a healthcare provider that's providing the vaccine. I think it's got to be a lot more intimate, personal interaction that's going to convince people that they need to get vaccinated.
And you make the point even too, and I'll take it a step further, is maybe the warm, helpful hand of somebody that looks like them, right? Having that communication, that access from people within their own community, that goes a long way.
Yes, absolutely. We have a Black woman who's our CMO, Tracy Robinson, who's a most incredible provider. And obviously she's an incredibly experienced and you know, has a very high-ranking position in our organization. But I had these images of her out on the sidewalk outside of our 2700 Manchester office, helping people out of the car, helping them to get into the line, reassuring them that this was the right thing to do, because she had the ability to do that because they trusted her.
Yeah, no, trust is you know, when trust is broken, it takes a long time to build it back, doesn't it?
It really does. And, you know, we talk about Tuskegee all the time, and it's been, you know, 100 years, but it's still in everyone's mind, and people still are concerned about it. And I think especially with the pause, you know, there was the concern about the medical mistrust initially, and then when the pause happened, it was like, wow, we were right to be concerned about this.
But then on the other aspect of it, and I know this is something that is being very well addressed by communities, leaders, organizations like yours across the Southland, is just the access to it. We've seen here in LA County County, they've increased the hours by which people can get the vaccination because not everybody has a 9-to-5 job. You know,
Right.
people work off hours, especially with the kids on the blended, like the hybrid system of being in school and out. If you've got childcare issues, if you've got double jobs, if you've got pulled in every direction, you may not have had a minute to get a vaccine. Getting the vaccine in different ways, mobile units, staying longer at these vaccine appointments, that's going to make a big difference.
Yes, we're trying to also correlate getting the vaccine with other things that people want to do. And you've seen this on television, people getting vaccinated at ball games, at grocery stores, things that people have carved out in their schedule to do. Wow, I can get a vaccine at the same time I'm doing something else.
Yeah, we're habitual creatures, aren't we?
Yes. In New Orleans, they have a big program going called A Shot for a Shot.
Oh,
where
hey, now.
if you get your vaccine, the bars will give you a shot of whiskey.
I'm always talking about meeting people where they're at. Honey, you just met them where they're at. Hurricane and a shot.
Only in New Orleans.
Only in New Orleans. Look, Tony, you know, Dr. Tony, I should always give you your status because you've worked hard to get there. I so appreciate that you have been so focused on our men's health. This is an aspect of it. And I know with getting men, we know there's been larger hesitancy with our men, black men and Latino men to get that vaccine. And I know that's something that's very near and dear to your heart as well. Thank you for the efforts to do that. Thank you for continuing to push for it. And during Men's Health Month, I think we're going to invite you back.
I'd love to come back. Thank you. You know, for every 10 women in the United States that go to the doctor, 2 men go. So we can't end the epidemic without getting our men on board. So it's an important effort.
We love you and want to keep you around forever and ever. Even if sometimes you work my last nerve. I love you. I want you to stay. And we want you to live healthfully. Absolutely. Let me point you to where you can find more information about the organization that Dr. Tony Mills works for. It's menshealthfound.org, short for foundation. Great to see you, Dr. Tony. Take care.